Hello and welcome to TradeFlow Television,
bringing you valuable analysis and actionable intelligence
through the global commodity markets.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. The Philippines, the world's biggest rice importer, will need to bring in at least 1.69 million tons of its staple food this year to fully cover domestic requirements, a government official said on Thursday. The Southeast Asian country is playing down the risks of domestic rice supply tightening this year, despite a global market grappling with shipping delays and a worldwide rush to stockpile food. Its minimum rice import requirement for 2021 is enough to ensure the country, which buys more than 90% of import requirements from Vietnam, will have the required 90-day buffer stock ahead of the lean domestic harvest season beginning July, said Agriculture Undersecretary Ariel Kyanan.
Indian sugar mills are aggressively signing export contracts after New Delhi approved a subsidy for overseas sales and as global prices hit their highest level in 3.5 years, 4 industry officials told Reuters on Thursday. The exports will help the world's second biggest sugar producer to bring down stockpiles and support local prices, which, at odds with the global market, have been falling due to oversupply at home. Mills have so far agreed contracts to export 1.5 million tons of sugar in the 2020-21 marketing year that started on October 1, mainly to Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan and African countries for shipments in January to March, the officials said.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Indonesia aims to increase overall energy investments by nearly 50% this year to $36.4 billion after the sector was hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, Energy and Mineral Resources Minister Arifin Tasrif said on Thursday. Indonesia, the world's biggest producer of palm oil, nickel and coal, saw energy investments tumble to $24.4 billion in 2020 compared with $33.2 billion in 2019. We hope that the pandemic will be more under control in 2021, when the country rolls out the vaccination program, the minister told a virtual conference.
Canada's oil sands production hit a record high in November, according to the latest regulatory data, and will likely continue to rise as producers ramp up output following the end of provincial government production curtailments in Alberta. Northern Alberta's oil sands account for roughly 2/3 of crude output from Canada, which is the world's 4th largest oil producer. Canadian producers, like their counterparts globally, endured a torrid 2020 as the COVID-19 pandemic hammered fuel demand, but cautious optimism that vaccinations will defeat the virus this year is helping boost oil prices. Moving on to metal price moves. The European Union will impose tariffs from Friday on hot-rolled iron and steel products from Turkey based on an ongoing investigation into dumping. The duties will range from 4.8% to 7.6% and affect Turkish companies Erdemir, Isdemir, Kolakoglu Metallurgy and Harbors, according to the text of the EU official journal published on Thursday. The complaint shows that EU steel consumption was 4% lower in 2019 than 2016, while Turkish exporters increased their market share to 8.1% from 2.8%, partly due to EU measures against other steel exporters, such as China and Brazil.
Prices for cobalt metal in China powered to their highest in almost 2 years on Thursday, with traders attributing the rally to a new round of buying by the country's state stockpiler. Cobalt on the Wuxi Stainless Steel Electronic Trading Center, a reference for spot deals in China, hit 319 yuan and 50 fen per kilogram, the highest since January 11, 2019. It is up more than 13% already in 2021. On the London Metal Exchange, prices of cobalt metal, used to make alloys for jet turbine blades, are up nearly 10% since the start of 2021 at $35,500 a ton, their highest level since November 2019. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. World food prices rose for a 7th consecutive month in December, with all the major categories, barring sugar, posting gains last month, the United Nations Food Agency said on Thursday. The Food and Agriculture Organization's Food Price Index, which measures monthly changes for a basket of cereals, oilseeds, dairy products, meat and sugar, averaged 107.5 points last month versus 105.2 in November. The November figure was previously given as 105.0. For the whole of 2020, the benchmark index averaged 97.9 points, a three-year high and a 3.1% increase from 2019. It was still down more than 25% from its historical peak in 2011. Finally, we have the most recent news on the financial market.
The total market value of all cryptocurrencies rose above $1 trillion for the first time on Thursday as Bitcoin surged to a record high, according to data by crypto coin trackers CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. Bitcoin has jumped more than 900% to $38,655 on Thursday, from $3,850 in March, as governments increase speeding to blunt the economic impact of the coronavirus. This has raised fears about rising inflation and US dollar debasement. The cryptocurrency is also gaining traction with more mainstream investors who are increasingly convinced that Bitcoin will be a long-lasting asset, and not a speculative bubble as some analysts and investors fear. That is all for today's news on the commodity market. Stay tuned to Tradeflowtv as we continue to provide you with more updates. You can also follow us on Twitter at TradeFlowtv1, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop.